Hey everybody, welcome back to Ogre Speed Shop. So we are going on to phase 3, getting this truck ready for the truck gathering in Guthrie, Oklahoma on April 17th and 18th. So we've already started on the brakes, but I gotta get the rest of the stuff. I got calipers on order. They should be here anytime, either tomorrow or Friday. Brake hoses, and we gotta do bracketry and lines for the entire thing. So we're getting into that stuff too. So we gotta make this thing stop as well as go again. But we got the rest of the body parts coming from that. So we got the, what do we got coming? Got a floor pan. We got a floor pan coming for this. We got the kick panel, and we got the cab corner for that, and a couple other brackets too. I ordered one of these brackets again just because I want to compare it to this one, see if it's any better. Because if it is better, then I'll use that one. That's just tacked on there for now. But you probably saw that from the old video, from the last video. But anyways, we got a few more parts to put on there, and then we start getting this thing ready for the cab to go back on the chassis, hopefully in this video. So that's what we're working on. So let's go ahead and get into it. So one of the things I started with, you see this little indentation right here in the frame? Well, this is very similar to what the square body that I got all the parts off of came with. So I cleaned up that area, drilled some holes, and see this bracket right here? This is the actual hose where the hose attaches to. So I got it all cleaned up and painted. So you see where the hose will go into there. And I'll show you exactly how it goes on the truck. And we'll bolt this thing in, and then these were riveted from the factory on the 86 we got the parts from, but so that'll bolt on just like that. And then the hose goes here and the line goes through that hole. So that's that. Same thing with the other side. But yeah, you see there's indentations on both sides. It just happened to work out that way. I don't know if it's the exact same way it was with the square body, but it works. It lines up pretty nicely there and fits pretty nicely. So that's what we're gonna do with it. So, but yeah, both sides. And I also have, see the shock? That's a shock bolt on the K trucks, the 4x4s. They come with this right here, which is a way of doing a double shear on it. So that goes on like that, and a bolt goes through there instead. So we'll worry about that when the time comes, if we even put shocks on it before the show. Hopefully we do, but I also got springs. I got to get those ordered soon too. But that's where we're at with this. The rear diff's got to go back in. All the brakes are ready to go on that. So it's just a matter of bolting it back up, and we'll be good on that. So yeah, we're getting closer to getting this thing roadworthy again. So pretty cool. Hopefully we can get it done. All right, so I just got back from town, and I had ordered the brake lines from O'Reilly's yesterday, so they came in today. We got 3/16 and 1/4 inch. You can buy the stuff in 25-foot rolls there. Here's the part numbers: PAC 325 for the 3/16. And PAC 425 for the 1/4 inch. I also stopped by my local mom and pop car quest at Yawa Auto Supply. Picked up a new ignition switch. I think mine is probably still good, but I just wanted to make sure I had one that's good. And I also ordered keys and lock cylinders for the doors and for the ignition. So I have all matching keys from O'Reilly's. So I picked up some bolts and nuts too, and got stuff on order. So I got brake calipers coming, should be here tomorrow. I got brake hoses coming, should be here tomorrow. And I'll pick up the brake pallet. Did I say shoes? Calipers, rotor. I got the rotors. Calipers, hoses, and brake pads should be here tomorrow. The pads were in stock, but I'll just pick them up tomorrow. Yeah, I think that's about it. And I got parts, all the rest of the metal parts coming for the cab. So I have the floor pan, the kick panel, and the cab corner. And I think, I ordered 2 more of these, those pieces. So if I don't use it for this, if they're the same, then I'll use it on my buddy's truck when I do his. So, but yeah, so we got some stuff to do now. We can start making brake lines for this. I gotta check my stash, make sure I got nuts and everything to do it. There's a few things I want to cut off of here too. Like there was for the PTO, there was a throttle control right here that came up through here, a cable, and went up to the carburetor right here. So it went from down here up to the carburetor to here. I want to remove that just to get it out of the way, but they welded that on there pretty dang good. It's not just spot welded on. There's some pretty good beads on there from underneath, so I have to cut that off. There's another one on the exhaust mount here. Those are for both the throttle and the clutch. So a bunch of stuff I need to take off, but not necessary to take off right now. But just got to figure out steering. Oh, spring. I got the spring order too. That's coming too. That's coming from Kansas. I'm not sure. It says it was shipped. Not sure when that'll be here, but all the parts for that I ordered will be here tomorrow by the looks of it, as long as the weather doesn't screw it up. But yeah, once we get that cab done, and we can get that thing put on here for good. Maybe I'll clean up the back side of that, or the front side of the headache rack here too. So, but yeah, we got a lot to do. Okay, so one of the things that we got to fix before we take this thing anywhere is, well, if you look right there, see a nice puddle of gear lube from the transfer case. Well, that's coming from this front section here someplace. And I think it's coming out of the main seal for the shaft right down inside there. So I got a kit to replace it, so hopefully we have the right one, and I'll seal that whole front, because that's the whole plate that can come off there. We'll seal that whole thing. It looks like it's weeping out of the shifters too, but that's below, or that's above the fill. That's the fill plug back there, and that's above that, so that's just going to be slung whatever weeps out. So I'm not too worried about that, but I am worried about this because that's below the level of the of what it's supposed to be, and we don't want to lose fluid and burn up our transfer case. So let's get this thing torn into and see what we need to do to fix it. All right, first things first, we got to do is get this drive shaft out of the way. I'm going to move this body mount too, so I don't knock it around. Move it from the front first. Ouch. I didn't think I tightened it that tight. Apparently I did. You guys probably can't see exactly what I'm doing down here, but using that as a pry bar to hold it in place, and I'm going to use a wrench to loosen it up. So I did tighten it pretty good. I don't know why I tightened it so good. I knew it had to come back off again. God dang. Jeez. What was I thinking when I put this thing on here, knowing it had to come back off again? Maybe they're just dirty. I should have cleaned them before I stuck it back on there. So these bolts, the bolts for the strap, they are 7/16 head. So they're probably quarter 28s by the looks of it. Okay, we got those out. Now we can pop the drive shaft out. Differential. All right, now we need, I believe, a 5/8 for that. So it's warmed up a little bit out, but it's still pretty cold. Oh, that was good. Bed magnet, best thing in the world. Just give her a little tap and she should come out. Just like that. And that's probably why it's not coming off so easy, because it's nice and dirty in there still. Those U-joints need to be replaced, but I don't know what's going to happen before the show. That came with I got the transfer case and the transmission off of Facebook Marketplace, but those came with that. All the drivetrain, all the drive shafts came with that. Not bad for $350, so pretty happy about that. But I already got the shifter off because I took it off to put the cab on and take the cab bag off, so that's off of there. So it looks like we got the nut there, and once we get that nut off, I think it just slides off. I don't think it's a press fit. I don't know that much about these things. This is my first time dealing with them. So let's get the nut taken off there and make sure it's not staked in somewhere. No, it's just like a top lock of some sort. Figure out what size it is. Is it 1 inch? It is bigger than 1 inch. Go to 1 1/8. Look at that. There we have it. 1 1/8. Going with a big gun on this one. You know, as big as Ryobi can be, but I've never had this thing fail me for the most part, so can't really complain. Heck, that came right off. That was pretty easy. Probably could have used a smaller gun. Now, am I right? Does this just pop off? Oh, yeah. Whoa. Wasn't expecting the shaft to move so much when I pulled on it. So that is just a slip fit. Why did that move so much? Are they supposed to have that much play in them? Like I said, I don't know nothing about these things. They're supposed to have a little more preload on it, or not preload, backlash. That cap looks like it might be out a little bit, but it kind of looks like hard to say. Let me get a pan to put underneath there, but I'm going to take the whole cover off and we'll place all those gaskets. Okay, those look like 1/2 inch. Oh, my vision's off today. It's 9/16. So I picked up some new hardware today at Atwood, some washers and bolts. They got 3 different size washers, so 5/16, 3/8, and 1/4 inch. And my eyesight's good enough that I could tell the difference between those things when I was sorting them, because I just throw them in a big bag and you get charged by the pound. But I couldn't tell that was a 9/16 bolt, so I'm starting to losing my ability. Oh, imagine that. This smells just like gear oil. Oh yeah, there it goes. Hard to say where it was leaking from, but it's definitely coming out of that area. So if I replace the housing seal and the shaft seal, hopefully it'll take care of it. So I don't know if it's my old age or what, but I enjoy using the nitrile gloves now instead of my bare hands. Yeah, I don't know. It's had a gap in it, so I don't think it was really sealing too well around it. So, but we'll take care of that. Let that drain out a little bit more. This is kind of the way it's supposed to be. I don't want to pull it. God dang, I can almost pull that thing out of there. So that bearing isn't press fit. It just slides in and out. Cool. Here's something else we got to look at too. You want to check the rag. So like I was saying, you want to check the outer diameter of this yoke to make sure, because if it's gouged or something, then the seal can't seal on it, and not doing you a whole lot of good, is it? So I also noticed it seemed like it was leaking out of here, so I'm going to put some silicone on that too before I put it all back together, kind of like you do with a diff. You want to seal that up so it can't leak out of that, because it could have just been that it was leaking out of that area. So yep, so I got to clean that up. I don't feel, I mean, there's one there, but I think it's further back on the seal surface. I'm not sure where the seal surface is at on this. Yeah, now the seal surface itself is good. I'm not sure what the outer, unless that's gouged there for some reason, but then we'll get all these parts cleaned up and let that drain for a little while. So then we'll get the seal put in. All right, so I'm just going to use this is actually a weight off of a F body, a 2000 or 93 to something F body. I think 93 to 97. Well, the drive shaft is a balance thing. I don't know, but that fits perfectly around there, so I can drive that seal out. So we'll figure out which part of the seal is actually part of the seal. Okay, yep, it's the whole side. Let's give it a couple taps. And it should come out. Just that easy. Oh, almost. It's a little bit bigger than what I'm trying to tap it out with. Let's try it with these. Yeah, there we go. That's more room. There we go. One seal removed. That looks like it's probably that one. That looks like a match. Got this kit off of Amazon. I was a little upset because they had it folded in half in an envelope to be mailed. So, you know, if you're going to send out stuff like that, don't put it in a freaking envelope and fold it in half. So yes, this has a ring around it. That is definitely the right one. Okay. And which way does it go? Yeah, like that. Springs on both sides of it. Yeah, it does. I say it goes just like that. Let me clean this bracket up a little bit around the edge there. And I'm judging by the amount of goop right there, I'm saying that's exactly where it was leaking from. Just doing this real light, so don't get upset about me using a wire brush on aluminum. So just clean the edge up a little bit. Let me get my bearing install tool. That's the biggest one. Still got grease on it from doing the wheel bearings. Nice. Nice and greasy. My buddy Bryant picked up a real nice one of these bearing install tools from Snap-on, but instead of using a screw to hold it on there, it has like a little ball latch on it, kind of like sockets do or ratchets do, and that way you don't have to worry about unscrewing it and screwing it back in all the time. There we go. Brand new seal, so hopefully that'll take care of it. I didn't knock the spring out. Cool. So there's that one. Now we gotta find the gasket that goes here. Nope. Oh, I think I see it. It's right on top. Yeah, I'd say that's it. So there's a little pocket right here where fluid's got to be able to flow through. That ain't lining up with the gasket. See what else we got. So I guess it's got to be one of these. Hopefully it's enough. I don't know if you can see that or not, but when it's lined up, see how it doesn't quite line up? Right there. Let's check the other one real quick. But let's get that thing installed on there, or scraped off first, so I'll come back when it's clean. All right, so we're getting ready to put this back on here. Got the bolts, got some thread locker on, or thread sealer on them. You see down here, that's not a blind hole, it's actually going into the oil. Right there's that hole I was telling you about where that plate needs to be lined up with. So the way I got it the oil's thick. So I take the air nozzle and I blow it back in there. Then I'm going to stick the bolts in there and get her on there as quick as possible so it doesn't leak out anything and it seals it up. So that's what we're going to do. So like I said, that little notch needs to go where that hole's at. So it'll be going on there should be just like that. So that's the way it's got to go on. And the gasket needs to line up with it as well. You know, it doesn't really line up with this housing, but it lines up perfectly with the hole. So I'm not going to add any RTV or seal or anything. Just going to get stuck in there and hope the thread sealer does the trick. I'm going to go ahead and shoot some air down into this hole because it stays up in there for a little while at least long enough to get the get it wiped down. Trying to move quicker here. And tools. All right. Torquing by hand. And no, I have no idea what the torque spec is. I'm just going to go off elbow clicks. That feels good. There we go. Clean this yoke up. Shouldn't leak anything out because it's below that level. So hopefully that takes care of our leak. All right, got that cleaned up as good as it needs to be. I'm going to put a little bit of grease around it just to help slide her in. And I almost forgot. Put some RTV around the inside on the splines, just to make sure it seals on that too. Something we always did when we built our diffs is do the splines on the yoke, the pinion yoke, because that's where it likes to leak. Just put some down inside the teeth here. Slide her on. Cool. Why would I wipe that on my glove? Oh boy, what a day. Well, that washer's about toast. Let's just see if I have a better washer than that. Look at how that thing has been crushed in, unless it's supposed to be like that. But I don't see how it's a good thing. So let me see what I got. I got a much thicker washer. Will it fit? Oh yeah, I'll go with that one. It's a little better than that thing. Oh, I don't have a new nut, so I put a little drop of blue Loctite on there just to help hold it in place. Did that turn off or did I turn it off? There we go. I don't think there's any preload on it you got to worry about. It's not a conical bearing, so just tight as good. All right, so we got that sealed up now. We'll have to top it off and make sure it doesn't leak anymore. All right, we got her filled up. Got the floor clean, so we'll know if it's leaking first thing in the morning. So far, so good. I don't see nothing dripping. Hopefully that's just residual that was there before. But yeah, I tell you what though, trying to squeeze in 75 140 gear oil when it's this cold is not easy. And yes, go ahead and light me up in the comments about using thicker gear lube than what it's called for in those, but that thing's 46 years old. I think it'll be fine. So I'm just using this 85 140. But yeah, so we got that part done. So we can actually mark something off the list. I think I put that on there, didn't I? Transfer case seal kit. Right there. Marked off. Awesome. And we actually do some of this too. Not quite done with all of it though, as you probably saw in the last video. Anyways, it's one thing off our list. It is the next day, and so far, not a drop to see. So hopefully that seal took care of it. Now we'll know more once we run it and actually, rotate it and if that causes it to leak or not. But on another note, got back from town a little bit ago, and we have brake parts to finish out the front end of this. So we got the new calipers, new pads, new hoses. I still need to figure out a master cylinder, but I can't do that until I have the cab on there. Figure out what I need for that. I think I am gonna clean up this metal here. Just put some fresh paint on it so it doesn't rust anymore. Those are some of the things we gotta do. Oh yeah, I got ignition switch, new locks for the doors, and this covers the ignition and the door locks. So it comes as a complete kit you can get from O'Reilly's. So if you need a ignition kit that has a key that matches both, this is the part number. It's the LockSmart LS48700. And that comes with both doors and ignition. So it's the best kit I've found. I found the same one. I put it in this one. So this GMC's got the same thing, but it all works. So got the switch itself from CarQuest. I like to use CarQuest because they, I don't know if you know or not, but CarQuest is a division of Advanced Auto Parts. However, CarQuest is owned by private individuals, so it's a kind of like McDonald's. So it's what's it called? Can't remember what it's called, but there's a name for it. But anyways, it's owned by a family, a local family, and it's called Yao Auto Parts, and it's a CarQuest. So I like to use them as much as I can to give a good mom and pop store my business. So I'd rather give them that business over a corporation. So that I just wanted to share that a little bit. So we got parts. We got some paint too. I wanted to see about trying to match this paint a little bit. So I had my wife with me and I let her pick a couple colors to see if we end up matching right. And we'll go from there. I got parts coming for this too, but we're not worried about the body work right now because we got to get this thing back on its wheels. All the springs have been shipped too. So they should be here someday. I don't know when I don't have a shipping or a tracking number for that, but they are on their way. So we will have the right springs for this within the next week, which is awesome. So yeah, I'm getting excited here. What do we want to do? We want to do brakes? We want to clean up that? What do we want to do? I think we're going to do brakes. So what you're watching here is 20 minutes of footage condensed down to 30 seconds because I forgot to turn my microphone on. So here's a high-speed version of installing brake caliper. We'll do the full install on the other side. All right, so the first thing we're going to start with is getting his hose brackets put on. I cleaned it up and painted it, made it look real nice. So that goes right there in that area there. I got to re-drill holes on that side because I had these brackets on the wrong side, which was in the video, but it didn't have sounds. So this just goes on here. Just using some grade 8 hardware, nuts and bolts and locking nuts or locking washers. There's no pressure or anything on this. It's just holding the hose, so I ain't too worried about it being super strong. It doesn't need to be. Run that down. Watch your ears. I got my finger stuck. There we go. So now we got a bracket for the hose. All right. Next thing's next. Calipers. So you always want to make sure the bleeder is facing up. I got that put in over there and have it facing up the right direction. Where is the clip? There's new brake shoes, and the clip is in this bag right here. So all new hardware with this, which is nice. Bought these from CarQuest because they're a mom and pop store, and I like to support local businesses if I can. And yes, it is a CarQuest, but CarQuests are privately owned. They are, I think I said it earlier. They're a branch of Advanced Auto Parts. So, but they are individually owned. And the people that own Yao Auto Supply are really good people. So I'd rather give them my business. Back down in there so it don't get lost. Even though I got extras this time. The pad that has these little ledges on it, that goes on the outside of the caliper. And the one that has these two legs on it go on the inside with this little clip right here that retains it. And the clip, that piece right there, goes towards the top. I'll show you why here in a minute. Because when it goes into the caliper, like so, it clips in like that to hold it in place. This one's held in with the holes for the bolts. It helps to put it in right side up. Wouldn't just block all your views, but it might have. And that's all there is to that. There it is. Mike, what did I do with the Allen? So this is a 3/8 Allen head for these pins. You can put some grease on there too to help with the O-rings, but they're not necessary. Yes, they're slide pins, but they don't really, you just slide a little bit on the O-ring on this side and then on the sleeve on this side, so not a big deal. Microphone's still on, that's good. All right, that side's got a caliper now. What else we got to do? Oh, hose. So I was pretty stoked. The kit came with a banjo bolt, which you need, and I didn't have, so that's a good thing. Which copper washers do I need? The small ones or the big ones? Two different sizes. That one? It is. All right. Just got to get the hose put on with the copper washers. And make sure you torque these things and get them crushed really nice because that's what seals this caliper. hose. So one of the things I like to do after I get it tightened the first time is I'll tap the bolt and then give it a little bit more just to make sure that that thing is crushed and sealed properly. So that's it for that. Hose goes in, maybe. Where does this stupid thing go? Big side forward. There, right there. Use the clip to hold it in. And done. There you have it. So now we have to do the hard lines for it, and we'll be good to go. Springs will be here. It'd be cool if they came today. They were shipped. They're coming from Kansas, like 9 hours away. So that'd be really cool if they actually showed up today, but I ain't counting on it, but you never know. Just realizing I still need sway bar bushings. But anyways, that's it for the brakes. While we're waiting on the springs for this, I'm doing some more patch panels on here. A couple of them came in, so I'm doing that corner back there. Got it sized up and fitted now. Just gonna weld it in. And then the cab corner is supposed to be here today. And but I want to get this cab done. You know, the last video was nothing but this, and you know, I'm not gonna bore you with that again. So I'm just gonna show you kind of the updates of where we're at with it. So we're gonna get that piece welded in. Cab corner should be here today to finish that up. We got the floor pan over there now, and we're gonna get the kick panel as well that comes. It's supposed to be here today. It's Saturday, but FedEx said it's out on a truck being delivered, so hopefully it'll get here. But so we'll get to that. But like I said, I'm not gonna film any of that. I just wanted to give you an update where we're at with this, because this is gonna go on the chassis hopefully in this video. That's the plan. So I gotta get this all done as well. All right. So one of the things that we need, obviously, for this build is a fuel tank. This is the one that I got with the GMC body. So it was in the cab when I got it. Doesn't seem to have any holes in it, but it's got some sludge in the bottom of it. So I got me some of my favorite things, the Super Clean. Not sponsored, but this stuff works great. I'm gonna let it soak for a couple days in that. Upright like this, because it's kind of at the bottom, but it's also at the back. So I'll probably, you know, after a day, I'll lay it down on its side where it's back, and then go about that way. Hopefully it'll clean it up enough to allow me to use this for the truck. I was going to do it inside the shop to keep it out of the weather, but I realized I have to carry it someplace to empty it. So, but it's windy right now, so it's blowing it everywhere. Let me get a funnel. Let's see if that'll be able to stay in there. Probably not. Nope. Oh, maybe. Let me jam something in there to hold it up. Never thought I'd struggle with a damn funnel before, but so I've tried the purple power with this method before, and it didn't seem to work very good. But those tanks that I tried to add on were really bad. They were the original ones in the GMC. And there's the 2 extra tanks, the side tanks on it. But I use this stuff to soak bearings and whatnot in to get the grease off of them, and it just tears right through it. So I'm hoping it'll do the same thing for the crud in the bottom of this tank. I don't think we have any freezing weather tonight, so hopefully this doesn't freeze overnight. I'm just gonna let that soak. You can see it is open on the sending unit area, but hopefully that'll eat away some of that grime. At least good enough for me to use it. I need a new sending unit anyway, so that's the part that you gotta worry about clogging up anyway. So that's only like 30 bucks compared to, God, these things used to be 100 bucks. Now they're like 260 bucks for a new tank. So yeah, I should do it for now. Just gonna let her soak. Can't really see much in there. Pretty sure the temperature never got cold enough to freeze us last night, but oh yeah. Doesn't feel any lighter. Is there any evidence of leakage? Well, it's dry. So hopefully that's a good thing. We don't have any holes. That's the main thing. As long as it doesn't have holes in it, we should be able to run it. Just a new pickup with a new sock and should stop any crud from getting in there. Well, the UPS guy just left, and look what he left us. Well, gave to me. I was out there when he got here. This is front springs. So these should be the right ones for the 1969 or 67 to 72 bodies. So you get them unwrapped and get those things installed so we can get the steering set up right, because you can see that's not straight. It should be straight, pointing straight out this way. So we're going to see that straighten out, and that right there, those shackles, will be lined up the way they're supposed to. So hopefully, I haven't measured them yet. They're supposed to be 22 on center, so we'll see. All right, let's get these things opened up, make sure that they're the right size. Is that a coating or is that just bare metal? Oh, I need to sharpen my knife. Cool, it's got the bushing, front bushing in it. I have to put a coat of paint on these. All right, let's measure them just to be sure. So I figure out what I did in my tape measure. 24 on center. Or I'm sorry, 22 on center. That's 22. 22. Yes, they're the right ones. That is awesome. I can't tell, is that painted gray? I think it is paint. I might just leave it. Unless it's some kind of, maybe it's primer. Definitely some kind of a coating. So I ordered these from, where did I order them from? I don't remember. But I'll let you know at some point. The only bad thing with these things is because they're so heavy, they're not cheap to ship. So the springs themselves are only like 100 or 250 bucks. But shipping was over $150. And that was from Kentucky, which is only like 9 hours away. Thought about driving there, but no, that's just as long. I'd be wasting as much money in gas as I would be to just ship them. So, well, maybe not quite, but time and money. Whew. Just got lightheaded standing up too quick. But cool, we got the right springs now. So now we can concentrate back on this area instead of that area to get this thing back on its wheels. I've been trying to finish this up as well, and one video on this is probably enough. So this side has been fighting me to no end. You see, I had to add that piece right there for the dimmer switch, and it was shaped differently than the original. This pan actually has an extra dent in it. What's it called? Can't think of what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. That's not from part of the original. It's not on the original. And this didn't line up quite right over here, but everything actually fits and looks good once it's all together. But yeah, it's just kind of messy, but it will be covered up with some kind of carpet or rubber mat or something. I don't know, but it's a floor. You're just gonna be standing on it, and it's gonna rust away again. Not before I'm gone, but eventually I'm sure it will. But anyways, just want to show. I just got a few areas I got to patch that, and I got to make a filler piece for across there because that's all rusted out down at the bottom. So I'll break a piece and fit it in there. It's going to be, that one should be pretty simple because it's just going to be straight. Get the rocker on there, get the kick panel on there. Most everything else is welded. Got to weld up that corner over there. Got to figure out what I'm going to do there. But other than that, that's where we're at in the cab. The thing we got to do is get these springs installed. So we're just get going on that here. All right, we need to get this thing off the jack stands so we can put some jack stands behind the spring perches so we get these things swapped out. That looks like a good height. Whoa, I don't have any jack stands. Where am I? Well, I literally am using all my jack stands. These are too short to put under the frame. These are only little 3-tonners. Steal the ones under the other diff. Gotta break out the OG jack stands. These are the oldest set I have. That's good. Didn't drop down. So I should just leave it there, huh? All right. So off camera, I did go in and I broke these loose. It should come right out. I did notice that the new springs look like they're closer. I think they're 2.5 inches, and the square body ones are 3. So hopefully that isn't an issue. I should take the sway bar off first. So we have to see what all works with this setup, because I've got parts for 68 as well to bolt this up, like U-bolts and these mounting plates, but they don't have a sway bar. Hopefully we can just use these ones because they have the sway bar mount. So one good thing is getting the springs out will be real easy because all the hardware is new. And I just remembered, I don't have the actual hardware for the one side. Meant to order that, but I haven't ordered it yet. I can use what's in there for now. Oh, not my brake lines. Those are brand new. Okay, I need jack stands for this too. I have smaller jack stands. I just don't have the big ones. Yeah, I didn't think that through too well, did I? That's okay. Guess I could just disconnect the brake hoses and it wouldn't be an issue. Maybe I'll do that. That way I don't take a chance of breaking them. There, now they can't be stretched too far. Cool. Easy peasy. All right, so we need, is that 7/8? Ah, it's a 7/8 nut. The rear is a 7/16 bolt, which means it's going to be 5/8. Yep. And 11/16 for the nut. All right, those are all loose. Still have one possible problem here. That's the width of the frame mounts. See, they're made for a 3-inch. I'm gonna have to shave it down a little bit. Don't know yet. Or put a spacer in there in the rear. What the hell's holding it on there? It just jammed in between these two. Ah, jeez. All right. There's that one. And that one. Cool. Well, this stuff needs to be cleaned up a little bit, doesn't it? It's got like an inch of mud on it. But let me get that cleaned up and I'll be back. So I was going to wait till tomorrow, try fitting this, but I don't want to. When I was cleaning I used this here beast to freaking clean the thing. And somehow, even though I had it facing the opposite direction, it flew around and went right in my eyes. It's just mud. So it ain't no big deal because I get a lot worse than mud in my eyes. But all right, so let's see. Need the bolts. I took the bushings off the other springs. They fit, so should be good on that. Just curious about width-wise, how it's going to fit up in here. I'll tell you what, this spring feels heavier than the original, the one that was in here. Look at that. Whoa. There we go. Bang. All right. Hardware, hardware, hardware. Okay, I need to loosen that up. Definitely looks a lot better though. I hate when I lose the stuff I'm working on. Just need to take the tension off the shackle here. That ought to do enough to get to move it. There we go. Look at that. Like it was made for it. So you remember how I said the steering is off center. So now we bring this up into position. It's going to move that forward. I just get it to stay straight. That side's on there good. Just rotating it, isn't it? Steering link is actually causing the problem. All right. A little too late to be doing this for me. Dropping it. It's still good-ish. All right, I think I'm gonna do this tomorrow. It's getting kind of late, and my mind ain't working right. Like if I rotate this, if I would just done that in the first place, it would have brought it right into place. See, I can't think right now. Yep, that's dead on right now. But you see how it's straight now, and it's lined up with the spring now. But anyways, we'll continue this tomorrow. All right, so I thought about it overnight. I figured the best way to do this was attach the springs to the differential. That way, I can lift the whole thing up in and just attach the rears. So that's what we're going to do. At least, hopefully. Now let me clean this off real quick, at least on the bottom. That fit. Doesn't center it very well, does it? Anything different about it? No, it's just the way it is. And I agree, I should have cleaned these things up first. Well, the good thing is the U-bolts look like they're good, so it shouldn't be an issue. So for as usual, you gotta squeeze them to get them in. Nice, let's try a big pair of channel locks. The good thing is if you have to squeeze them like that, they'll hold in place. I'm gonna clean this one off and I'll be back. All right, we got those cleaned up and started on. Just gonna run them down, not all the way, to make sure everything's centered good. Pretty much flattened itself out to where it needs to be, so I don't think the width difference is going to make a difference as far as it goes from the square bodies to this. You do need to add a spacer to that at some point though, because I put a washer in on that side just to take up a little bit of the space. Suppose I could just put the bushings from the square body in there, but this will be fine. My battery's dying. Yep. I think I'm about out of batteries for my Snap-on power tools. I don't have a Snap-on dealer out here in Oklahoma, so I will properly torque those when the time comes, but for now, that's one in. I'll do the other side and we'll get her lifted up in there. I kind of want to show you there's a difference in the U-bolts on the other side. See how this one's bigger and longer? It's because it actually goes around the housing. Let me show you. Hopefully I don't lose microphone on this. You see the one bolt actually goes around the housing there. So one is on the outside here. So one goes here, the short one, and the long one goes down and around all the way underneath that thing. So that's why it's longer. All right, it is time. Now it's time to lift her up into position. Hopefully for the final time. Well, nothing's ever final on these projects, or is it? That side's good. See if that'll guide up in there now. There it goes. Look at that. All right. Still using a temporary bolt on this side, and I have no idea what to do with the nut, but I think I got spares. So one thing about suspension, you don't ever want to torque anything down until you have the weight on it. I'm just kind of lightly tightening everything down right now so it can still move. All right. Oh, it's already off its own weight. That's pretty cool. I think we should put the tires on it and see what it looks like. Should have measured how tall it was prior to. Wait, it's not all the way on its weight, is it? Hold on. Oh, is that normal? They're supposed to arch opposite direction when you get the weight on it. These are rated 1,115 pounds or something like that. I don't know why it don't look quite right, does it? Maybe it is. I don't know. We can get the tires on it and see. All right, there you have it. She's on her wheels. Now I don't have the rear end yet, and maybe that's putting some extra pressure up here. So everything's not tightened down quite yet either. So, but yeah, I'm assuming it's supposed to bow like that on these. I don't really know. I hope so. I hope I didn't spend $450 for nothing. But, so yeah. At least she should be lined up steering wise now too. She's on her tires and the steering link is perfectly square to the power steering gearbox. So pretty cool. All right, so we got the rear back in now. I didn't film that. If you want to see that, you can go look at the other videos where I actually installed it and everything. But yeah, so now I just gotta get some wheels on it. I want to get it on the ground and see where we're at. So first I'm gonna measure where we're at up here, see if it changes any. But from what I've read and what everybody's told me, that is normal. That these old springs, they frown. So I guess that's what we're gonna go with. At least until I do a lift of some sort. But anyways, if I'm going to. But anyways, let's get some wheels on here, get a measurement of what the frame is at up there, and then drop her down on all 6 and see how she looks. All right, we got her down on all 6 now. And when I dropped it down on the back, the front from where it was at raised 2 inches. So most of the weight is in the back, obviously with the big bed on there. Now the front will go down some with the addition of the cab and front end, obviously. So we'll see where it's at like that. but for now, it's where it's going to be. I'm not going to lift the rear to level it out right now, at least not unless I have time to. But for now, if I have to, I'll roll Carolina style to the truck show. But I think it'll weight down quite a bit once the cab's on there and we get coolant and everything in it, and everything on the front end again. Plus the big bumper. I got the big bumper, and the heavy bumper is probably about 150 pounds, I think. So should level it out quite a bit. But yeah, she's back on her wheels. And when I set her down in the back, she started rolling towards me. So she rolls nicely. I gotta get the drive shaft hooked back up, both of them. But other than that, I'm gonna chalk the wheels so they don't roll again. But looking pretty good so far. Now you just gotta finish up the work on that so we can put that on there. Just do a quick test on what would 200 pounds on the front end cause it to do. And it dropped an inch just by, I stood on the front of it. So it went from 27 inches at these horns here to 26. So if 200 pounds is going to drop it by an inch, I'm sure, what, 500, 600, 700 pounds of cab and front end will definitely bring it back down to where it's supposed to be. So it should level it out pretty nicely. All right, so I want to go ahead and dump this out and see where we're at with it. So, because it's supposed to freeze tonight, I don't want to leave the, a freezable liquid in here overnight in case it does freeze. So we're gonna empty it out, see what kind of a mess we have. So I don't see any signs of leakage. Oh, this ain't gonna be light, is it? Just need to get behind it here. Oh, gross. That's kind of a clear purple color when I dumped it in here. Hopefully the 5-gallon bucket's big enough. It was 2.5 gallon buckets of super clean, so that looks nasty. If it cleaned anything at all. I won't be able to show you guys because I can barely see what's looking down in here, but I definitely got rid of some of the crud. Not all of it, but a lot of it is gone. That's good. I'm gonna have to run some filters and whatnot, but I think we'll be able to use that tank without any problems. Definitely still some sludge in there. Maybe I hit it up with a pressure washer too, but I'll wait for a warmer day. We'll do that too, just to be sure. Kind of help protect it from critters a little bit here. Doesn't really matter if it gets wet. It's been out in the weather for a while, so. Anyways, looks like the tank will be fine. There's no holes in it. That's the main thing. We can use filters, and I think the more fuel we run through it, the cleaner it'll get. So, yeah, it'll be all right. So I do believe we get to mark some stuff off on our list. Front springs, done. I didn't go with rough country, and I gotta remember. But I'll let you know as soon as I know. So what else we have? That was pretty much it. The rear is installed now. So are the brakes for the rear. This is front. So we got, yeah, those are the things we need to do for the main lines. But the rear is done. I just gotta hook it up. So yeah, and most of this is done too. Did that already. Floor pans are in. One of the cab corners. Those are both in. All right, so we marked some stuff off the list. Pretty cool. We got her sitting on all 6. Just gotta hook up the drive shafts. I'm gonna start working on this some more, and hopefully the next scene you see will be us putting this cab onto the chassis. Well, it is time to burn in the very last panel I have to put on here for the metal work. Now there's a lot of welding, or a lot of grinding I gotta do to clean up all the welds, especially on the outside panels, the cab corners. I tell you what, when you do this stuff, take your time. I'm kind of rushing it a little bit, but I thought I measured this perfect over here, and it ended up being a 1/4 inch gap around it. I even tried to go below it, so I wasn't using the whole line like I did on that side, where I used the whole piece and had to deal with all those different curves and dips and drops and hills and valleys. And I went below it, so I figured that'd be a better way of doing it. And yeah, no, I ended up cutting a quarter inch too small. So I had to fill that in, which looks like crap. But just take your time when you're doing this body work. And it'll turn out all right. You can always go back and cut and weld again, but you know, it kind of sucks having to go back and redo your work. But yeah, that's the rocker is the last thing that needs to be welded in. Oh, that and the body mount over there where I had to cut out the floor. But other than that, we are good to go for getting this thing back on the chassis, getting it one step closer for the car show or the truck show. Well, everything is welded on now. I just got to grind some things down. Overall, it is what it is. I hate saying that, but everything works. Everything, I mean, the doors close good. There's a gap between that and the rocker now, so I didn't have to cut it like I did the first time I did one of these things. So overall, pretty happy with it. Now we just gotta put that on there. And then we can start doing the brakes and the wiring and all the rest of the stuff that goes with it. Get this thing back on the road. Well, I got the cab as ready as it's gonna be to get ready for the show. I got everything ground behind the back, so I don't have to worry about working the body on the back side of it. It's not perfect, and eventually it's got to come back off again, or the bed's got to come off. So yeah, I think it's kind of inevitable at this point. Let's get this cab put back on the chassis. And there you have it. The bed or the truck is back on the chassis. I don't have all the bolts bolted in yet, but it misaligned a little bit on that side. So to, you know, bench press it up into position, but man, that thing's tall. That thing's pretty high off the ground, isn't it? It's definitely got some ground clearance for four-wheeling, doesn't it? That's cool. I like it. Oh yeah, now I can start doing, making it run again. That is cool, I love it. Gotta put the mirror back on too. Well, that helps complete the look a little bit with the mirror. All right, just gotta bolt everything down and then we start reassembling everything else. That's gonna do it for this video. We're over an hour now into this, and we've done brake, suspension, got the cab put on. I don't know what else we did. But we got her down on the ground on all 6 wheels. So she's getting that much closer to being able to drive up the road again. So we got a few things we got to do to button up. We got to get pedals in, wiring done, fuel, all that good stuff. So on that note, if you like this video, leave a like down there. Leave me a comment. Let me know what I can do better other than speaking, because I have trouble with that sometimes because I talk way too fast. But so again, like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Share with your friends, turn on your notifications. Got more coming, and definitely getting ready for that show coming up. So again, if everybody's been here this long, I appreciate you being here this long. And until next time, I will see y'all later. See, that was just a good case of me not being able to figure out what the hell I was trying to say.